But it looks like with Jim Ryan, he really thought that games as a service were the future. And so PlayStation had something like or 15 games as a service in the pipes of games they wanted to come out. They had Factions, they had the Horizon Zero Dawn multiplayer game, they had a whole bunch of other things. But then that was Jim Ryan's big push. A lot of the studios under PlayStation were unhappy with this. They said, we're more used to making games like Ghost of Tsushima or Horizon Zero Dawn or Forbidden West or The Last of Us or Uncharted. This is our bread and butter. This is what we do. And these games as a service kind of model like Fortnite or Apex, that sort of thing, that's not really what we do. And forcing us into this, it made a lot of people unhappy. Now that Jim Ryan is no longer at PlayStation, a lot of the higher ups said, you know what? If the developers feel more comfortable making these kinds of games, going back, Xbox was known as the multiplayer system. It was one of the first systems to implement 4 players. The N64, I think, had it too, but back in that era, Xbox could allow up to 4 people, and Nintendo could allow up to 4 people. PS2 could only have 2 people, right? It was established itself, especially with Halo and then later Gears of War, as the multiplayer machine. It was the game system that you would have at a frat house where a bunch of guys sat around together and played games. And PlayStation was known more for its single player games, for those more narrative, the RPGs and that sort of thing. And that was what they were known for. And both of them started branching out and bleeding into each other's territory. So now you get a lot of single player games on the Xbox and you have a lot of multiplayer games on the PlayStation. But it looks like, as far as first party games, PlayStation is looking to focus on where they cut their teeth and want to focus more on those single player games again and not focus so much on these games as a service games. What they did say they want to do is they said, we still do want to do games as a service. We still want to have games like that. But instead of focusing on it ourselves, we're going to start working with third parties such as Sega, or I think they said Sega was one. I don't remember From Software, I think, was another one. Like, for instance, From Software did Bloodborne. And they're saying, we want to work with third party developers, and we're going to give them access to our IPs and let them do these games as a service kind of things rather than forcing our own studios to learn how to do it on their own. Let's get people that have experience, we'll loan them the IP, and then we can work together on this. So that seems to be where they're going to be going. So we are going to still get them. It's going to be done by people with experience, like maybe Capcom, who does something like Monster Hunter. Maybe with that kind of experience, we could say, hey, Capcom, we'd really love to make a similar game about the Horizon world. Could you help us out here? And doing that rather than all in-house. So I personally see this as a good thing.